So today we'll see like how to use JavaScript, and before that we'll see like what is JavaScript. Okay, so whatever the code you write inside your HTML file, okay, that will be like HTML, and it will contain like CSS and one more language called JavaScript. Okay, so you should not get confused with normal JavaScript, what we use with programs, and what we use it with HTML. Okay, both are same, but what we shouldn't be confusing like why we are not using this much in our codes. Okay. So for example, consider this web page. Okay, not this web page, just give me a moment. Okay, just going a different place. Okay, are you guys able to see one screen actually with the tiles?
Yes, go on.
Okay, so hello. Yeah, I thought like it was echoing. Okay, now consider this page. Okay, so the moment I hover, it changes the thing. Okay, it is because of the CSS. Okay, so just
Okay.
as of now, just consider this parachute tile. Okay, I'm going to refresh the page. Just notice the third tile alone. So every single tile changed. Previously it was a parachute tile.
Yeah.
You guys able to see the difference, right? Now
Yes.
consider like here is the some disk is there, some alien disk. Just I'm going to refresh it. So now it's changed entirely, right? So what happens behind is we will not be able to handle such kind of things with CSS, cascading style sheet. So in such cases, what we do is like we go for JavaScript. Okay, so every JavaScript is written using the script tag. Okay, or if we are this one is called as external JavaScript. Okay, we are importing, and this particular part is called inline JavaScript. Okay, we will be having this JavaScript inside our HTML page itself. Basically what it does is like every time it changes this particular URL of, sorry, here we have mentioned like image URL. So here I am randomly changing the images. Okay, sometimes it comes like 01, sometimes 02, 03. It changes the position all the time. Okay, it might generate something like first time we are giving a randomness for 57. Like it can generate any number max to max of 57. Like within 57 it can generate any number like 26, 47 or 56. Okay, 57 will not be included, but remainings will be generated. Okay, so for these purposes we will be using JavaScript. In similar way, we will be using JavaScript, the same JavaScript, to execute it here. Okay, for example, let's consider Google. Okay, let's go to Google. Now are you guys able to see the Google, right? So just inspect your right click and inspect and go to console. Okay, so previously there was option like whatever you type here, it used to give suggestions. Okay, a lot of suggestions, but nowadays Chrome is not giving much suggestions. So you have to go for JavaScript official site or Stack Overflow for JavaScript code. Okay, one is jQuery's official site, second one is JavaScript code. Either you can use W3 Schools or something. Okay, so what we do is, for example, let me set a value inside this particular checkbox. So everything, okay, whatever the commands you write, normally you will be writing like send keys and click, right? So end of the cycle, it will be converted into a JSON protocol. Basically, it will be converted as some equivalent JavaScript method, and then it will be converted into a JSON wire protocol, and then it will be executed in your browser. Okay, so for example, if I consider this text bar, let's take some unique ID. So I'm taking for moment's sake a class. Okay, so we can find any element using document. Just you need to type a query called document dot get element by ID. So when you use get element, okay, in such cases you will get only one element, but remaining whatever the locators you use, you will get more than one element. Okay, so these are the some additional locators for from the JavaScript, or you can call it as like DOM selectors or DOM locators. Okay.
Okay.
So we did not had any unique ID, but we had a class name. If you read the definition, it says like get elements by class name, which means like it says like it's going to return multiple elements. Okay, so if I give the class name and if I hit enter, it will fetch the element from that particular web page. Okay, and it, as it said, like it's going to fetch multiple elements, so it brought it in term of array or a list. Okay, now we have this particular element but inside our array, so we want to get it outside the array. Okay, so normally what we do, we will be using index to perform operation on individual elements, right? Now just I'm going to access the 0th element, because here you can see like only two elements are present, but you can use 0 or first. Okay, two elements you can use. So as of now I'm going to use 0th element and I'm going to hit enter. So it will fetch all the full particular, it's going to fetch the full element from the DOM. Previously it fetched the same element but inside a array, but now we got a full element with all the attributes. Okay, now we can perform all the operations whatever we are performing with TypeScript and protractor. We can perform the same operations here. For example, if I want to set a value, we will be using value. Okay, so before using a value, just understand like some time back, like on web elements, we talked about why we use value with get attribute.
Yes.
Do you guys remember? If there isn't,
Yes,
there is,
Pavan. Like we are sending it and we are sending and we are getting back.
yes. So whenever there is a text bar or any input field, and if you want to fetch the value out of it, then we have to use get attribute of value. Okay. Similar way, we can use dot value to fetch the value from particular text bar or any place. Okay, are you guys able to see it here? The value came here.
Yes.
Okay. So now this is one thing, and second thing is like you can now with using the same value, using the same value property, you can set the value also. It is something like value equal to something like, for example, pro. If I hit enter, the value got changed here. Are you guys able to see?
Okay.
Now, similar way we can perform all the operations. Let's perform a click. Okay, instead of clicking this particular text bar, let's click on the Google search button. It got some ideas. Button K or button I. Okay, the name is button I. Okay, so now I can find it using document. Sorry, let's do it. Document dot get element by name, right? I can use this one because we had name there. So shall we use this one, get elements by name?
Yes.
And pass that particular name and try to find the element. If you are able to find the element, then yes, we are able to find it. Now just go to a 0th element and click it. Click is going to be the same, and you have to make it as a method. And sometimes you might be thinking like, how come I can know that whether it's a method or not? Because here also it's not saying anything. So if you don't get it like whether it's a method or not, just write it as it is and hit enter. Okay, so now it will give like f click, which means like it's a function. Okay, f means function here, so we have to write it as a function. So now add that braces and hit enter. Is it searching pro now?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is how you can do it. And there are few more methods in the JavaScript. Okay, but before that, now I try to find here you can see like a couple of selectors, something like get element by ID, get element by class, and get elements by name, and get elements by tag name, and get elements by tag name in this node selection. Okay, so did you guys notice there is no XPath or there is no CSS selector?
Yeah, it's not that.
Yeah. Now you have to use, there is one more method called query selector, QUR query selector. Okay, so there are two methods. Okay, now can you guys guess like what is the what could be the difference between query selector and query selector all?
Is it that query selector selects one element and selector all many elements?
Yes, exactly. So I have this button and name. Okay, button K is the name attribute. Okay, if you want to go back to Google, you can go. Oops. Okay, just we'll see like the thing here. So it is a name equal to button K. Okay. Now, how will you write a CSS selector for name or any attribute? So basically, when you use query selector, it is a CSS selector. How will you guys do it?
Tag name, square
Okay.
bracket.
When tag name is not there, we can ignore it.
Ignore it, square bracket, and then the attribute name property like name equal to, and then the value.
Yes. So this is the one. Now let's see like whether we get it. So we are able to see that particular search bar. Okay. Now we can perform a click. So now it searches because we are able to click it. Okay. So this is JavaScript. Now we don't have anything for XPath. Okay, in JavaScript. But sometimes what you can do is like you can write jQuery. Now in the place of now we have, so far we were trying with JavaScript, right? So you can use jQuery as well with the JavaScript. Okay, in the console you can write like dollar means get element, but using XPath. Okay, shall we write the same name equal to button K, and let's try whether it fetches or not.
It's at the rate.
So it says like there is no button K.
No, we have to give XPath in this.
No, it's a CSS selector. So we will be using CSS selector only. Okay, actually the mistake is we are on a different page.
Okay, yeah.
I was trying with the same locator. Okay. So if you click up arrow, you know, whatever the command you execute, it will come back. Okay. So are we able to fetch the same element as like JavaScript?
Yes.
Okay. Here also we can perform the click operation.
What is this dollar? I mean, I didn't get. Yes.
I didn't get you.
What is this dollar? Using the dollar, we can execute the.
Yes.
CSS.
Basically, dollar, when you use just a dollar, what it means is like get element by CSS selector.
Okay. Instead of writing that, we can just use dollar.
Yes. Previously, I used this one, if you remember. This
Document.
part, right? Yeah. So the total thing, what we can do is like we can make it like a simple one using a dollar in the front. Okay. So whenever you see a dollar, which means like it is a jQuery, not JavaScript.
Okay.
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 So we are not able to click it. There could be two reasons. One, it's returning multiple elements. So let's try with one single element. So still we are not able to do it. Somehow it's not going. Okay, fine. So what we can do is like we can go to the element and then we can see like is there anything like that. Yeah, we are not able to perform, but it's okay. Okay, so just you guys need to know like you can use Java's jQuery for CSS selectors. Okay, similar way with jQuery you can use JavaScript. Sorry, not JavaScript, but the XPath. Okay, now what changes you need to make is like dollar and then you have to make it X.
Okay.
So now let's change it to double star and then at. So are we able to get it? Are you guys able to see that? Whatever we are trying with the XPath, you are able to fetch it. Okay.
Yes.
So two things you guys need to remember is like whenever you are on a page level, the JavaScript or jQuery will be executed on page level. Okay. So whenever you are on a frame level, we'll discuss it later. Whenever you are on a frame level, the execution will happen, not the execution, this particular execution, the jQuery or JavaScript execution happens on that particular frame. Okay.
Okay.
So now let's bring it back to the what do you call into the protractor. So why we are discussing in the browser is you guys should know like in some places they will use like browser.execute script. Here they can use like browser.execute script. Okay, so you might think like how come a person is able to get this particular query, like whatever I am going to write, the same thing. Now for example, let's consider you guys might have seen something like this one. So just make sure you are using single quotes. Okay, so you guys are able to see it right somewhere here, this part. Now this is how normally they will write it with execute script. Okay, so this execute script is nothing but the moment after opening the browser, what it does is like it will inject this particular JavaScript or a jQuery into the browser. Okay, so whenever you are testing something like whenever you are testing with the protractor, but if you're not able to achieve something, you can try with the JavaScript only if that particular step is necessary. And if you feel like this particular step is expect statement or you're going to assert this step, then don't use JavaScript or jQuery. For example, there is a button and while writing the protractor, you are not able to access that particular button in a proper way. Okay, sometimes it passes and sometimes it fails. So in such cases, people tend to use JavaScript and jQuery, but we should avoid it actually. Okay, if that is the verification means you should avoid it, but if it is just a step means then you can use the JavaScript or jQuery. Okay, because it is not suggested to use JavaScript or jQuery for verifications. So now let's execute this one and we'll see. We'll add sleep at the end and we'll see like what happens. So basically ignore synchronization is for non-Angular pages. Okay. Okay, did you guys have any doubt? Like, we have been using https://google.com, but we never used www dot.
Yeah, is it by default?
Okay, so www dot, if you put that particular part, it becomes a subdomain. Okay, so that's how normally people will buy domains. Okay, this part only they will buy. Okay, as the namespace. There is one organization called ICANN, ICANN. Okay, that guy will keep all the names and their IPs. Okay, now if I register this particular google.com, then they will store this google.com is belong to a particular server, or from this server I have to fetch it. Okay, so when I put www dot, it is going, this www is going to be a subdomain of this google.com. Okay, so which ultimately redirects to back to google.com only. So nowadays no one uses www dot, so it is not necessary actually, because with this one only directly we can hit the domain.
Okay.
Okay, so let's see. So before running, just make sure you are having this particular what do you call it, compilation ongoing. Okay, because otherwise the changes will not be reflected in your code. Can you guys suggest a better way to write this one JavaScript code? Now I am writing it here, so what would be the better place for this JavaScript?
Like we did for click.
Yes,
We'll have separate methods.
Yeah.
right. So if we keep it separate, means it will be good, and just give the access for the query itself. Just accept the query from the user, but browser.execute script should present inside that particular function, so that in case in future if you want to change, you can change it. Okay, so Google. Okay, it's typing PRO. So that's what we are setting in the our code, right? We are just trying PRO to set. So we are able to set it. So this is about JavaScript. You can do multiple things, like now, for example, I was telling like some days back, like there are different ways to refresh, right? So you can use a document dot title, not title, actually.
Current
URL, yeah. It will bring you the URL, and using this URL, you can again go and refresh that particular page. Okay, so if I want to refresh using JavaScript itself, means I have to use window dot open of document dot URL. Okay, if I use this command, it will refresh and it will open it in new tab. Okay, so window is basically for the browser, and window is for the browser window, and the document is for the document present here. So here the document you can see is google.com has something like index document. Okay, so which will be given like google.com. Okay, so from the document we will be finding all the things. So again, what we can do is like we can use document dot title. You will get the title of the document. Similarly, you can use like document dot max scroll. Okay, it's not defined. Scrolling. Okay, fine. And one more thing, actually. So if consider like you are on some page and you are not able to view a particular thing, then what you can do is in JavaScript there is a thing called scroll. Okay, document dot not scroll, actually you can bring it like document dot get element by ID or class name or name, you can get it. Button I, just check you have it. Now using first index, you have to get the element, and from this one you can make it to like scroll into view. Okay, so this is the option which will bring it, but you have to pass true as a value, scroll into. Okay, then it will put this particular thing into view. Okay, into our where we can perform operation. Okay, so this is one command. It will be like a bit important, but remaining are not that much necessary. Okay, so sometimes if you want to scroll something, you can use scroll window.scroll, and then you have to pass the sorry, I'm going to meet both of you guys. Okay. Now what guys can do is like you can give the scroll distance, what is the x and what is the y. Okay, so are you guys able to see the scroll? It moved little. Okay, if I set 0, it will move again. If I set it to something like 50, it will again change the position. Okay, so for example, let me use this one in somewhere. For example, let me use this one. Okay, this is the home page as of now. So let me do it here so that you can see the difference. When we have this scroll bar, it will be easier. Just remove the prints. Just go to console. Okay, if I scroll now currently we have an image here below just. Okay, so this part is in a view. Now if I hit 0,50, it will go to the top where the 50 pixel is present from the top of that particular document. Okay, if I give 500, it will scroll down. Okay, similarly if I give 5000, it will scroll down too much. Okay, similarly you can give the values, and there is other methods also you can try. So you can use like scroll x and scroll y. Okay, so scroll x is something like scroll horizontally, and scroll y will be used for vertical scrolling, something like 300. If I give, it will go. Scroll y. Okay, so if you guys can see it, scroll y is not a function. Okay, it says like it's not a function, but we can at least use the scroll. Okay, as of now, just use and manipulate it using this one itself. Okay, it will move here and there and you can perform it. So this will be helpful only when you have a scrolling pages. It will not be helpful when you are scrolling for a sub scrollers. When you have like a table, and in the table if you want to scroll, then it will not help you, but it will help you to scroll with the page. Okay, so if you want to scroll this particular scroll bar, you can do it, but any scroll bar present inside your page, okay, if anything is present, then you cannot do it with JavaScript. In such cases, Okay, any guess on that one? Like you have a table and it has a scroll bar. You have to scroll it. Okay, it's an inner scroll.
Scroll into view. You can find that element and maybe.
You will find the element and
And I will scroll.
no, actually that is the thing is you cannot find the scroll bars. Either it's in inside a particular document or this particular scroll bar. You cannot find them.
No, no, Pawan, what I'm telling, right, inside if you have any element, right, in that
Okay.
scroll, we'll find that element and we'll move. That scroll into view work 1 minute.
Yes, it will fetch the total document. Okay, not that particular part. That is the thing. So whatever scroll you use, it is applicable on your web page. Okay,
Okay,
this particular scroll,
okay, okay, Pawan.
not
Yeah.
to that particular one. So if you use that scroll into view means it will fetch into this whatever you can see it. But if the element is inside that particular table, there is a scroll. So in such cases, what you can do is just find any element. Okay, and try to click a place which doesn't have any reaction, something like if you click a link it opens something or it changes something. But there are pages, something like if you consider this page or this particular text. Okay, if I click this one, will it make any change? No, right? So click something like that one and use page down. Okay, so almost that's all about this JavaScript. So
Pawan,
yeah, go on. Hello.
sorry, Pawan. If you want to scroll up, right, again,
Mm-hmm.
we need to give negative value.
No, no, no. Actually, it's always based on this particular part. Here you have
Okay,
image, right? So it will be like 0, 0, x0 and y0. Okay.
okay,
So based on this one only, you have to give like uh, absolute values. Like if I give like 500, for example, I give- okay, now I have given 0, comma 200. Okay, which means like from this point, not now the point got changed. Okay, so
okay,
this was the point. So this is the document starting point. Okay, where the scroll is equal to 0, comma 0. Okay,
yeah,
if I enter the command again, now it moved like in the horizontal position the scroll is 0, but in the vertical position we have moved like 20 pixel. Okay, the
yeah,
count is on 20 pixels. Okay, now for example if I change it to 100, it goes up only. Okay, not from this particular point or any particular point, from the document's starting point to 100.
okay, Pawan, got it, got it.
Okay, so similarly you have to give from the document starting point. Okay, so that's all, and you guys should try a few more using JavaScript and jQuery. Okay, so almost we are done with this one. So let's try to do something with drop downs. Okay, just give me a minute. I want to know that where's the drop down, which drop down we are going to use. Okay, we'll be using a drop down page. Okay, so in Selenium, if you see, there are a few methods, okay, for drop downs. Something like present Java Selenium. Okay, so this is the select class. Basically, it has few methods. Okay, it has one constructor which accepts the element, and it has few methods like deselect all and deselect by index and deselect by value. Similarly, select by index, get options, get first options, or get selected options. Okay, so we might not be able to implement all of them, but we will be able to implement most of them. Okay, so in protractor there is no drop down handling class. Okay, so with Selenium there are a thing called like custom drop downs. When they form drop downs using LIs and spans or tables, it will be called as custom drop downs. But with protractor, everything is a custom drop down only, because we don't have any drop down handling methods in protractor. Okay, now yeah, yes, Sanjay.
No, nothing. I said okay.
You said okay, fine. So let me create one more file called not file. We can use it with here.
You can use in utility. Okay.
Yes, we are using the same as the click element we have, right? In the same part we will be using like execute JavaScript. So one thing you guys need to remember is like when you write something, write it in a normal way. Like for example, here we have execute JavaScript. So if somebody reads, they should be able to understand it. Some people will write something like this one. This is also fair only, execute JS, right? But the previous one is more clear, right?
Yes.
So don't use any synchronyms. Just try to use the full names only, but just keep it like you're using max to max length of 40. Okay, 40 letters, but applicable length is like 52 letters. You can write till 52 letters. You can write the method name, but within that you can write a good one. Okay, so what we need to accept here, like we are trying to create a execute JavaScript method. So what should we accept it? So shall I write just like this one, something like execute JavaScript for setting value and remove the parameter. Okay, is it okay?
This will be hard coded. Right?
Yes, it is hard coded. Is it? Does it look good?
No.
How you can?
So how we can write it?
Maybe we can accept the ID as a string.
No,
Okay.
again, using JavaScript, what we are doing that also matters. No? Like here we are setting the value. If you are clicking, then we'll have to have a separate method.
Okay. Yes.
So in that case, we'll have to pass the element.
Okay. Then.
And
So won't it confuse with this element and that element clicking?
yeah, you can write execute JavaScript click.
Okay. In this like previous way, can I continue writing like JavaScript, execute JavaScript, and then leave it? Is it okay? So what we need to accept is a string. Okay, we need to accept this particular thing. This particular method should accept a string, and that string should be your JavaScript. So suggest me a good name for it. So I'm going to accept this particular string. Okay, here. So suggest me a good name. It should be, when I read tomorrow, it should say like this is the value I should pass, or this is the one they are expecting.
Class name.
No, I'm going to do something like, for example, I'm writing triple S. Okay, I'm going to delete it. I'm going to write triple S here. Okay, this is what I'm going to write. Suggest the good name for triple S.
DOM identifier.
Now, what we are doing?
We are passing the JavaScript.
Okay, so what you need to write?
JavaScript query.
Yes, you are almost there. Then
Query execute.
no, that is right actually. JavaScript, something like so. What case we should we use here when I'm writing this one? What is the case that I should be using? Case in the sense like Pascal, camel, kebab, snake. Which one? So Pascal is this one. Start the first letter in the capital and then first word of the first letter capital and second word of the first letter capital. It goes so on, like third word first letter capital. Okay, this is Pascal. Okay, this one is that one is camel. Okay, it is bigger. Okay, that's why they call it camel. And this is Pascal. Okay, Pascal. Okay, so this one starts with a lower case, but remaining words starts with a capital letter. Click element. Okay, here execute JavaScript. Okay, here also I can make it capital here. So what should be the case we should be using here?
Maybe lowercase one because
Lowercase and then
no, it is a lowercase one.
just lowercase. JavaScript. Okay, let's write JavaScript and we'll see like how it differs it is, like how easy to read.
Anyway, the string is a class here in the TypeScript.
I didn't get you.
Whether a string is a class in the TypeScript.
Not a class, it's a data type, but it's a object. Not only in JavaScript, everywhere it's object. Okay. So JavaScript query to execute. So are you guys able to read that particular sentence I have written here?
Yes, sir.
So was it easy reading it?
No, I mean we can use it same as we did for execute JavaScript.
Okay, let me see. JavaScript
query
to execute. Now
how about using underscore between?
Okay, JavaScript query to underscore execute. Now seems good, right?
Yeah.
So
yes,
it's up to you. Like once you start accepting the parameters this way, okay, like with underscores, make sure that every single method parameter is accepting this way only.
Okay.
Okay. I was having a discussion with my friend yesterday. Like I was teaching Kotlin to one of my colleague actually in office. Just we were friends. So we were talking about like what is the parameter in terms of a method and what is the argument. Okay. So you guys try to check like what is parameter and what is argument. Okay. We interchange both the words in terms of for methods and functions. Just learn like what's the difference. Okay.
Okay.
So
yeah, we interchange that. Yeah.
So, but both are related with your methods only. That is also true. So just know it. Okay. So if you guys do not, I'll tell you tomorrow about that.
I think Pawan, while invoking the method, right, we will use the argument. What I'm thinking, but in the method, right, it should be the parameters. What I'm thinking.
Yeah, you are almost there. No, maybe it's the same, but just confirm whether it's the same.
Yeah, sure, Pawan. We'll check and we'll come back.
Okay. Now I have this particular query. Okay. Now I don't want to. I want to give option for the user. Like, okay, we did not discuss it about yet. So, for example, consider like we are giving a query here. Okay. Now, if user gives no query, then I don't want to throw any error here, or I want to execute this particular method. So how can I achieve it is something like putting it as a question mark. For example, let's access this statement, execute query from timeouts, or let me create a new file for JavaScript hyphen test.spec.ts. Okay, now let's copy it over here. Okay. So for accessing, we can use just directly the class of the name. Otherwise, if it is non-static means we have to import it and then we have to use it. So for non-static, we have to create the object for it and then we have to call that particular method JavaScript execute, something like XYZ. Okay. Now I was able to give this particular value. Okay. Now if tomorrow I don't want to give any value, like even I should be able to invoke this particular method like this one. How to make it? Any yes?
I mean, we are having one. I mean, we need to pass one function. I mean, argument, and here we are not passing anything.
Yes. In case if I want to execute this one also, and I want this part to be something like this also. So normally what we do?
Overload.
Exactly. So can I create one more method and remove the parameter?
Yeah.
Okay, but in JavaScript you cannot create duplicate, so I'll write some SSS at the end. Okay.
Okay.
Now will it work without any issue, right? But you have to call it with SSS.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is normal with your other languages.
Yeah.
Okay. So something like if you are familiar with Java, you will be writing overriding all the time. But when it comes for JavaScript or TypeScript, what they give is like they give one more thing for user. Like make this particular parameter as optional. Okay. So that's what they call it.
Okay.
Just put a question mark here. Okay. Before the data type, before that data type colon, you have to put a question mark. Now let's go to our code and see whether it throws error or not. It doesn't throw any error. Why? Because the moment we give a question mark, it becomes optional. User can pass or he may ignore it. It doesn't care. Okay. But what happens to this method now? If he doesn't pass anything, will it throw exception like there is no JavaScript query to execute, or it will say like execute JavaScript null? Second part will happen. It takes null as the value. Okay. So how to avoid it?
If a string equal to null, then
yes. Now you can use like if and else block to check like whether it is null or not. If it is null, then don't perform it. If it is not null, then perform it. Okay. So that is one way. The other way JavaScript asks you is like, so if user doesn't provide any value, do you have any value in your mind for default value? Okay. So it will ask like that. So you can put a equal sign here and you can give some XYZ value. Okay. Now let's go back to the code. Now are you able to see any error?
No.
Here are you able to see any error?
No.
So now what it does is like instead of taking a null value as the default, it considers this WNRE as the default value. So it will try to execute this value only.
Okay.
So previously we were saying like optional parameter. Now we are saying default parameter, default valued parameter.
Okay.
Okay. So just remember it. Like you don't have overrides in JavaScript and TypeScript. Okay. For example, one method accepts 2 parameters and the other methods accepts 4 method and the other one accepts 7 parameters. So how will you write in the same method? So something like, I want only one method implementation, but I should be able to call 7 in these different ways. So how to do it? So in similar way, like the optional parameters, shall we write all the optional parameters like with a question mark so that user can pass something or you can ignore something, right?
Yeah. In Java also, I think the latest feature they have given that optional arguments.
Right. Recently they are coming with it.
Yeah.
Okay. So one thing you guys need to remember, like when you are giving a default value or an optional value, it should be the last value. Okay.
Okay.
Not last value actually. After this, you should not have any what do you call mandatory values. Okay. Now you will see this a parameter initialize only allowed in a function or in a constructor. Okay, not in INO. So now here you are able to see INO as a parameter. But the moment if you change this value into a question mark, you will get one error saying that declared value but never read or cannot follow a optional parameter. Okay, the second error you can see it. Okay, which means like you cannot write the mandatory parameters after a optional parameter. Okay, so mandatory parameters you have to write in the first and then you start with optional parameters. Okay.
Okay.
So this is one thing.
So here JavaScript query to execute is with optional parameters.
Yes, INO is a mandatory one.
Mandatory one. Okay.
Okay. So I'm removing that optional part. So do you have any doubts today?
No, but
Okay,
we need to execute.
yeah, try it. So shall we see select today or tomorrow?
Tomorrow.
Okay, so I'll teach you guys about select tomorrow drop downs. Okay, so you guys should be able to do the same concept you should be able to apply for tables. Okay, normally Selenium or protractor doesn't have any element as table, but once you learn about drop downs, you should be able to implement the same concept with tables.
Okay.
Okay, so any doubt, Raghav?
No problem, but I'm little bit. I need to check about this question mark and I will come back if I have any doubts.
Okay, sure. In future, while now itself we started with the framework creation, so we will be using again and again that question mark.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, guys.
Okay.
Guys. Then I'll see you tomorrow. Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, thanks.